Nigeria is Africa's largest oil producer and the 12th largest producer in the world. Yet, more than half of its population have no access to good and decent shelter. About 85% of the total population live in rented houses, paying more than 40% of their income for what should be one of the most basic social amenities.
The landlords are very wicked on the tenants that they don't care.
Proof of this is that the market is almost non-existent. Outstanding mortgage loans are 0.5% of GDP compared to 77% in the US, 80% in the UK, 50% in Hong Kong and 33% in Malaysia. In Nigeria, the most challenging problem faced in delivering affordable housing to low and medium income households is the affordability gap. The Roland Igbinoba Real Foundation for Housing and Urban Development reveals that there are about 14 million units of housing deficit, and it will require about 49 trillion naira or $326 billion to bridge that deficit. Comparatively, this is 6 times the market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So, how come our government cannot see the enormous potentials in this sector?
I think it's the sharing mentality that is contained in our system.
After all said and done, we are still here, a nation that can't provide shelter for its own people. So, if we must choose a leader, what sort of leader would that be?
Clearly, there's a need to have a direct and defined housing policy for the country, and that's one of the areas we would expect, we would hope that a president or our new leaders would focus on.
I have recently gone through a number of manifestos that I have seen being published by a lot of politicians and political parties, and I'm amazed to see I have not seen anything to do with providing shelter for the ordinary Nigerians.
This reality has made it practically stifling for the average Nigerian to have access to and enjoy decent housing without paying through their noses.
They are all building big estates. For poor masses, we cannot even afford.
Nigerians must now carefully choose a government that will make the provision of shelter a priority.
If the legislature takes steps to pass the relevant laws, and if Nigerians demand their rights.
With an arm of legislature that has committees related to housing and housing finance, both at the lower and upper houses, it is pathetic to note that not a single significant contribution to providing housing has been made by this arm of government except for their involvement in the sale of federal government properties. Nigerians deserve better.
They are less concerned. Most of them, they have enough money that can even feed the old generation, the old federation.
The federal government should mobilize the relevant agencies and parastatals to make available incentives such as land use reforms, subsidies, building materials, cost reduction programs, tax-exempt status that will ensure increased housing delivery in the appropriate price market.
The choice of people to be elected have to be people who understand the housing sector and who have a plan and a program for the housing sector.
From 1985 till date, there have been a whole lot of numerous and unkept political statements about housing, with nothing tangible to show for it.
I strongly believe that Nigerians should vote for leaders who are interested in providing housing for generality of Nigerians as a whole, because it's very critical.
I'm not going to cast my vote to anybody that is not going to guarantee me and my future generation a policy that will provide them a reasonable shelter.
Nigerians must therefore go to the polls with a more informed mindset. Nigerians deserve better, and so we must all choose a new government that understands our problems and is willing and ready to provide adequate housing for the people of this great nation.